Hello there, I'm Teraton, and today I'm going to do a base tour of one of my Satisfactory worlds. Let's go! Okay, so I have been playing on this world for about 370 hours, which is quite a lot for me. And yeah, this is the entrance to one of the many factories in this world. This is my main factory and it's producing currently nothing because I'm currently redoing everything. As you can see here, I've ripped out a bunch of machines because I want to make it a bit more efficient. So on this side we have all the iron production, and this side is all the copper and stuff like that. So as we go through this very giant hallway, we will eventually end up at my storage area. I'm also currently busy redoing this entire part over here because I do not like how it looks. It is too small and I don't like it. So this is my hub area, which I currently have. It's a giant mess. So I have all my lizard doggos over here. I have 5 of them here, and then at the other factory I have another 5, I think. So they are so cute and they bring me presents every day. So that is the area. It is also currently being redone. If we go down here, we have all my fuse box, which is currently also going to be redone because the power lines in this factory has just become a giant mess. As you can see here, this is the underside of the factory where all the belts and stuff moves, which is the ugly part, which is covered up by foundations and stuff like that. So I have my hub over here, a lot of mess and stuff just lying everywhere. I have upgraded everything. All I need to do now is unlock those stuff in the up right corner of the screen, and then I will pretty much be finished with the game. That would probably take me another 400 hours to complete. So if we go up the stairs, I have my main way of transporting across the entire world. This is a hypertube cannon, which basically works like this until you go hyperspeed and launch out of the end. With this thing you can go everywhere across the entire world. So if we look at this lovely view from up here, you can see my steel factory over there and my Christmas decorations, which I still haven't taken down since Christmas. So as you can see also here, I'm currently busy redoing all the belt work, which that spaghetti mess is gonna turn into this somewhat organized belts over here. So yeah, that is my steel factory over there, and just behind those things over there, there's a little bit of red and white sticking out. I will come to that later. Now you might be wondering, what is this giant piece of ugliness against this lovely hill or cliff over here? Well, this is my oil generator building. It has about 300 generators, which I still haven't completed. I only have like 200. So I'm missing 100 generators still. So it produces quite a lot of power, but that pipe over there, which is sticking out behind those ugly stuff over there, generates a lot more. But we will come to that later. So I'm also busy redoing all the floors and stuff like that. This is my Christmas area, which I will be taking down soon. Then we just have another floor of production, a bunch of assemblers and copper, and that's all my wire storage over there. As you can see over here, I have my train stations. They are not completed yet, but as you can see, the entire base and world is under renovation. So yeah, this one brings in screws. These ones, I don't know what they do. We have a nice big area over here for trains. So I have built a lot of mess over the many hours that I've played, and I'm currently fixing that. So yeah, it is a very big setup, this, which is not completed yet, and it will probably take me about 3 hours or maybe more to complete. As you can see, none of my trains are running because none of my factories are running. Because I am currently redoing this one, I'm not too worried about the others being active. So if we go over to my next factory, my first factory. This was the first factory that I've ever built in this game. It has changed quite a lot since then. These were the first 2 miners that I've built on these 2 ore nodes. And yeah, I've spent quite a lot of time around here. This was my very first concrete production with the miner. And yeah, this was one of the starting areas of the thing where you can choose. It has changed quite a lot. I have another 4 lizard doggos over here. I don't bother to tame them yet because I kind of want to get them to the others, but that's also gonna take quite a lot of time. As you can see here, I have my train station set up over here. I have some sulfuric acid, something like that over there, which is kind of useless because I don't use it. So yeah, here you can see this is my screw production factory. That entire factory over here is now a screw factory, because without screws in this game you are screwed. So as you can see, I have many screws being shipped out to the big factory that we were in previously. I called it lag 101 because when I started playing Satisfactory, I didn't really have a very good computer. So this area over here was very laggy and just kind of unpleasant to play. So if we go into the factory over here, you will see that this is just a bunch of constructors and smelters and stuff like that, producing screws and stuff like that. So over here you can see my first steel setup, which is currently not working because I've ripped out all the machines that was in here previously. So if we just go out over here, this is another part of factory which also produces screws, and yeah, everything just goes into those lines over there, belts, and gets shipped out to the big factory over in that way. So yeah, this was my very first factory. It is a giant mess with useless machines just standing here producing nothing, because everything has moved to my big factory. Now we go over this way. we have my first coal setup, or coal power setup. The coal was pretty close-ish. It was coming from that miner way over there, and I used this little lake over here to get water for all of these machines, or coal generators. As you can see, they're all using Mark 1 pipes, which is not great, because I have played this game before I think when they added like the fluid packagers and stuff like that, before the Mark 2 pipes. So I've been playing for quite a while. So yeah, this was my first coal setup, coal power setup. These machines over here I've built but never activated them, because they're gonna be pretty much useless in the little bit of power that they produce. So if you can see here, this line that comes from Blue Crater Lake way over there gives me fuel and stuff like that. So this was my first fuel and plastic setup. It is very inefficient, as you can see. All the belts are clogged up and nothing is moving, because currently most of my machines are at idling, and I do not know why my power line is not smooth. We will check that out later. So as you can see, this is where all the fuel that I really need comes from. So if I need any, I just grab some, and then that will just fill these ones up again. So yeah, this was my very first factory. Everything in this area was my very first. As you can see there, you can now probably see a little bit more of that thing we are going to be exploring later. So if we go through here to the next factory, we will end up at my coal power plant setup. This was a very big project, because I had a lot of stuff to build and it was still pretty early game, so it took me quite a while to build everything. I plan on building something similar in the Let's Play series, but that's still gonna take a while to get here. So we have all this water extractors which pump water up into the factory, which produces a lot of power. Well, not that much, because I have another setup that produces a lot more. So as you can see here, I have rows and rows of coal generators just sitting here producing power. So it is just a whole lot of coal generators. I don't know how much. I just built them and kind of guessed how much coal needs to go into them, and water. And yeah, so moving on to the next factory. Okay, so this is my aluminum or aluminum, I don't know. But anyways, it produces that stuff factory. It is quite big, as you can see, because I have a lot of these things. I think they are called refineries, producing I don't know what. But as we move up here, we have a lot of things that it produces. It produces aluminium casings, heat sinks, and a few more things. So these two, they just produce cooling systems and used frames, which I'm still in the process of shipping out with drones to my big factory way over there. So this is kind of a boring factory because it's still very unfinished, and it just doesn't look very nice. But it has a hypertube, which is probably the best thing about this factory, because with this one you can also travel across the entire map. The next thing we will do, we will go to that factory over there. Okay, so as we are here at the next factory, you might think to yourself, but this view, it looks quite familiar. Because this is currently where the Satisfactory Let's Play series is occurring. I've built my factory up there. But in this world, I've built a giant stator factory down here in this valley. So over there we have the train station, which currently is working for some reason. I'm very surprised because none of them work. We have the one and only geothermal power station over here, which doesn't really produce that much energy and it's very unstable, so I do not like it that much. And yeah, if we go over here we have a lot of belts which all feed up into this one factory which produces stators. We go in there like so, you will see that everything is pretty much perfectly symmetrical, which I wanted to do that because I was tired of madness and just spaghetti everywhere. So these two sides are pretty much identical, and yeah, they produce steel pipes which are used for the stators, which is up here. This is probably the best belt work that I've ever done in this game. It looks like a whole bunch of spaghetti, but it is quite organized. Everything moves if it is powered, and well, everything is powered if the stators are moving, but with the trains it looks very good. So we have just a whole bunch of assemblers making stators. The pipes go in, copper goes in, and the stators come out into the spaghetti, very organized spaghetti of belts and stuff, out with this little output over here. Now if we go up, over here we have a whole lot of smelters. It's actually not that much, which all just produces copper wire, which are used for the stators. And now this is probably the most unnecessary project that I've ever done. It is this bridge. I quite like it, but it is still kind of unfinished because I started building it before update 5, where you couldn't clip those things through foundations and make it look nice. So I just still need to add some bars, but overall it is very big and unnecessary, but I just wanted to build something, so I built it anyways. So now I have a nice bridge across this river over here. I have a little bit of silica, something like that, production over there, and yeah, just my train station over there. So moving on to the next factory. This is my decommissioned oil factory. I've disconnected everything from it to make it ready for disassembly, because I've heard that this entire area of the map is going to be redone in probably the next update or whenever. So it's not producing anything, it's just a dead factory ready to be demolished. It did produce fuel for one of my fuel generator setups that never really worked. I wanted it to be like oil platforms, oil rigs with the fuel generators on them, but yeah, it never really worked. So it would have taken way too many of these. As you can see, could have seen on the first, on that the big oil setup that I have. So currently this area I just placed some oil extractors and just got all of the oil out of here. I disconnected this one and everything is currently being pumped up over this mountain to my giant oil setup on the other side. So I had a lot of plans for this area. Who knows, maybe if this area is redone in the future, I'll probably rebuild this. But I don't want the giant rock or something going inside of this and making it impossible to disassemble, so I'll probably be doing it soon. So I just have all these pipes and stuff coming from everywhere, all lining up nice and neatly, going up and being pumped over the mountain. So if we just go across the mountain, we end up at my oil factory or oil production building. So everything just goes in here, goes into these containers or fluid buffers, then goes into all these many refineries, which then pumps out a bunch of this blue stuff, which I just put into these ones to be recycled. I think these are called polymer resin. So I currently don't really have a lot of tickets because I don't really put a lot of high quality stuff in them. So I don't really have roofs for these ones because I don't come up here a lot. So I just have I do not know why my voice is like that today. Anyways, it's just a whole bunch of refineries pumping out oil, fuel, and which then gets fed into my giant, very boring process of setting up fuel generator setup down here. As I said, I currently have about 200 generators, which about half of them are connected, and I still have 100 more to go because all that fuel is being is only enough for 300, which does produce quite a bit of power. And yeah, as you could see there, my autosave is struggling quite a bit because this is a very big world with a lot of things in it. And yeah, as you can see, these ones are all connected. I still have to connect all of these, and it is a very boring process. But now we finally get to the point which everyone hopefully has been waiting for. Let's go to that tower thingy over there. Okay, so this is my another aluminium factory. No, this is not what I wanted to show. This is what I wanted to show. This is the biggest project that I've ever done in this entire game. This is my nuclear setup. So put on your hazmat suits or radiation suits. Let's go in. Okay, so I have my radiation or hazmat suit on. And this is my nuclear setup, which is 100% efficient, or at least 99% efficient. We have all the non-nuclear stuff going on this side, which is the sulfuric acid and concrete and stuff like that, all moving at 100% efficiency. which was the entire goal for this entire factory to be 100% efficient. I even used the factory carts to transport stuff from the big factory to here because I don't want to use fuel because I'm cheap. So if we go over here, we start going into radiation territory. This is the area where all of my nuclear rods are produced, the uranium nuclear rods, which are not as dangerous as the plutonium ones, but we will get to that. So this entire setup produces about 6 of these per minute. If I can see one now, there are none currently. Anyways, as we move along this belt to the center of that giant tower, if we eventually get there, at the base of this giant tower is this area. This is the center of this entire setup. This is basically where all the water comes in and goes to the nuclear reactors. The water goes in and the waste comes into this area and goes up to the plutonium processing facility. So let's go to the top of this tower. This is the view from the top of this tower. You can see pretty much the entire world from this view. There's my giant factory, the oil setup, and my space elevator, which goes up very high. There's that useless aluminium thingy, and there's my another train station over there. My screw factory is way over there, and behind there is all my other thingies. So yeah, as you can see way down there, that is the plutonium recycling facility. And over here we have some loops, which, yeah, as you can see here, stuff goes in and stuff goes back into there. It's quite confusing. So it's a quite lovely view from up here across this horrible area, which is just gas and stuff and very not friendly natural wildlife, which I have killed and exterminated most of it, but it is still pretty dangerous. So if we just quickly go to the front. Okay, so this is how the front of the tower looks. It was quite heavily inspired by the one of Chernobyl, and here you can see the loops. It is quite a small little building down here. I have made quite a lot of use of the clipping from update 5, so it's just pouring stuff down here and very loud when these things are running. So the nuclear waste and non-fissile uranium goes in, and plutonium pellets go out over here, like so, into this on this belt and into this factory over here. So it goes into those machines over there and these ones over here, which produce these things over here, which is very radioactive. Thankfully nothing has clogged up yet or caused a disaster or something like that, and everything is quite efficient, and it produces plutonium fuel rods, which is quite radioactive, and I don't really want to use them for power because the I think 75,000 megawatts of power is going to be quite enough. That the reactors, the 30 reactors that I currently have, which are all over here, but that would be enough, hopefully. So yeah, this is the biggest project yet. It is not exactly complete. I just have to build a few more of these foundations and then it will be finished. So I hope you have enjoyed this video today, and please leave some comments on how I can improve my videos and some more ideas of what I can do in the Satisfactory Let's Play series. And I think that's all for this video, and goodbye.